Good afternoon. Welcome to the Slater Gordon Championship match between Manchester City PFC and Nottingham Forest. My name is Alex Dowding and I am delighted to be joined by Chris Gordon. How you doing, Chris?
Good afternoon, Alex. I'm very well. Good to see you.
Had a good afternoon so far?
Yeah, just watched a great game of Powerchair Football, the Baggies versus Norwich. Great entertaining game, lots of action. Yeah.
Last minute winner?
Yeah, very late minute winner. Yeah, one of those games where both teams are pushing, and I think either team would have come away feeling disappointed if they'd lost it. But it's a great game, great advert for the sport, and well done to Norwich for the 3 points. And
bringing us up to this game then, I suppose. Now we've got an exciting clash going on here. Manchester City are on a bit of a charge this weekend, doing well. Picked up some of their first points, a few goals as well. Popping some in, so they're doing well. And Notts Forest, you've had a chastening weekend so far, I think. But have showed signs of promise as well, so could be a good game we've got in store here. Let's bring up the Manchester City squad to start with. For some reason the Manchester City squad is not coming up. Here we go. Slight delay there in our systems. So we have got on a starting lineup. Jay Pixton in goal. Sebastian Spink playing through the middle. Karim Ali and James Simpson on wings as their starting forward. On the bench they have Lucas Veza-O'Brien, Oscar Spink and Stephen Miller-Whittaker. Any thoughts on Man City, Chris?
Well, I think they've had a great weekend so far. I think that would have surprised many with their result against Villa Lions on Saturday morning, a 1-1 draw. Great point on the board and has set them up for a good weekend. As you said, they've scored a few goals later on yesterday afternoon against Hull and East Yorkshire PFC. So I'm sure they'll be looking to build on that today and pick up a three points maybe in this game.
Well, they're up against Toby Morris in goal for Notts Forest, Ben Rogers in the middle, Finlay Cooper and Riley Priestley on their wings, and Gary Meakin and Samuel Rogers on the bench for Forest. So those are our starting fours. Our referee for this game is Jeff Lewis, head of referee development for the WFA.
I thought Nottingham were trying to field 5 then. Gaz was very slow to get off the pitch given his last second instructions.
So a bit of communication between the subs and the Forest starting four. Man City are going to have the kick-off, and it'll be Spinks to do so. Gets us underway.
Yeah, a lot of the teams are adopting this kick-for-touch type approach now and get the territory from the kick-off.
How do you feel about that as a coach?
Me and John Bolden have had our debates about this over the years. I like it. I think put teams on the back foot, try and establish that territory early doors. But to be fair, Nottingham managed to turn that quite straight round into an attack of their own.
Yeah, quickly moved up the pitch. I suppose if you've got good positional play, then you can squeeze teams with that scenario.
Yeah, some teams are more comfortable out of possession at times as well, so they can get their set up, look to try and press high and intercept the opposition's passes, and try and find the space in behind off their passes rather than their own.
I suppose if you look at it from the opposition's point of view, the worst place to get a kick in is right down in your own corner.
Yeah, it is. Very tough to get out from those areas. Unfortunately, in Powerchair, you can't just lump it over the top. You've got to try and find those gaps and work your way through, so it's very tricky from these areas.
And as someone who's been involved in trying to work out how we capture more stats and more data, Powerchair is interesting in terms of football that there are long periods like right now. Who's in possession is the question.
Yeah.
And in reality, what you have to do is create a new metric, which is under contest. I think is probably the nicest way of describing that, when it's locked up between a couple of chairs or bouncing between two at any one time. No one's really in possession, and it's in contest. So
it'll ebb and flow, won't it? Sometimes the one player looks like they've got the momentum, and then that can quickly change. So to be chopping and changing who's in possession in that would be very difficult to determine.
And so that therefore plays into this possession and territory kind of stat as being probably more important in this version of football than many others.
It's a great front bumper pass there.
City knocking it around nicely here.
They are.
Creating spaces. Just lost control of their pattern of play there. Both teams trying to find the spaces and move the ball well.
Yeah, the game's opening up now, which is good to see. I think that it was a bit cagey to start, both teams feeling each other out, but now the centre players from each team are dropping that little bit deeper, finding their pockets of space and getting those chairs set for spins and behind, just like that one, right on cue. Riley Priestley takes a great two-touch there. It's a testing shot at the goalkeeper, well dealt with by Jay Pixton. But Nottingham have got some momentum here.
I have to say, from what I've seen of City, Jay Pixton in goal has been a very helpful move.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a tactical change. Has he spent some time playing out as well then?
Yeah, he has spent a bit of time playing out. But his goalkeeping has certainly formed a good basis for the City now, and he does come out a bit as well.
That's good. Looks like he's very, very calm head back there. So someone who will keep his concentration and keep talking to his teammates and making sure that the team's organised.
All of those things, and he's also a great advert for the fact that there's nothing quite like experience of playing in the National League to improve you as a player, and indeed as a team for City. Their progress over the last couple of years has been quite steep.
Yeah, it's been great to see. It's great to see these, I say new teams, they've been around a while now, obviously, but it's great to see teams come into the National League. Initially, yes, it takes that bit of time to get up to speed in terms of the tempo is much quicker than your regional leagues in the main, and the games are very competitive. So, look, it takes time, and Man City have certainly found their feet, and they're now competitive in the majority of the games that they're playing in.
Certainly, our Spinks definitely had to close that down there as both wingers were deep and in position to receive the ball.
Yeah, as the game's gone on, it's looking like central players looking to really spin that ball and create the momentum, and the wingers staying quite high and wide in reverse and looking to manoeuvre that ball off the power that the central players have created.
A classic setup for Powerchair.
Yeah, a bit of it, the old school 3-1 as we call it, but big triangles and chance to get the ball moving and pulling the opposition around.
Fat football. Fast attacking triangles.
I remember seeing your philosophy on that one. It's
a few years old now.
Yeah, it was very detailed for sure, and the AFC Bournemouth team at the time had got a great document there to refer back to.
Yeah, we had our own style and we were successful. Got a couple of promotions from the champ. Never quite stuck it in the Prem.
It's such a jump though, isn't it? It's so difficult. And to be fair, you see the teams that have come down, and they're having to work hard again in the Championship. The teams have really improved across the piece now, and the level of football across the country is really strong. It's great to see.
Yeah, I think teams are much harder to beat than they used to be. Even if they might not have the full attacking threat yet, in terms of that cleverness and cuteness and accuracy in the final third, in terms of positional play and reading danger and understanding where the threats are coming from, I think all teams now have a much higher level of competency and organisation.
Certainly do.
Which is where the improvement starts for the attacking flair as well. Once you're playing against tougher teams, you've got to come up with more skillful ways and creative ways of breaking them down.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder. Teams are having to come away with little set plays and find the little 1% that they can try and exploit areas in the opposition in terms of looking at their setup. I think the live stream's fantastic that players can go away, review games back. Very difficult to plan too much with busy weekends, 4 games, maybe 5 sometimes, and a short break between games. So I think in the main you kind of get a bit of a philosophy and style, and then you try and find your little tactical tweaks that might work against certain opposition.
So are you looking for patterns of play with that? Oh, what a ball across for Man City, knocking it around. Got some real pace. Yeah,
they're really getting some power on the ball. There's a great reverse spin there from Simpson on the far side.
He's got a great dead ball as well. Really rips into it. That change of pace is so important.
Yeah.
To find space and get players out of position.
Yeah, especially, and what they've done really well, both teams in fairness, is they've just created that bit of room for themselves and that means that they've got the angle to bypass the opposition centre and find the winger on the far side, and that tends to get the defensive two chasing because the ball's moving left to right and they're constantly having to change their position to cover the front post. But yeah, it's been a great advert so far. Game deserves a goal, but I'm sure it's coming.
Who's he coming for though?
You put me on the spot there. Well, Man City have grown into it for sure. I think they're the team on top at the moment. A great opportunity there for a ball across the back post. Yeah, maybe a first-time pass there rather than taking the touch.
Keep the ball moving. One thing we say when we're coaching quite regularly to the new players and to build their understanding of the game is that when you're defending, you want the ball to be moving slower than your chair so you can cover wherever it's going, and when you're attacking you want to get the ball moving faster than the opposition's chairs. Yeah. Because as long as you can do that, you can pull people out of position, you can dictate the shape and play of the game.
Yeah, it's a good message. I think there's obviously times where players will look to slow it down if teams are staying rigid in their shape and they're not jumping. But in the main, as you say, if the ball's moving fast, you've got to travel quickly to try and get there to cut it out, and it's not always easy to do so.
Good goalkeeping there by Jay Pixton again.
Good use of the side of the chair just to bounce that ball and deflect it up the pitch. Took a little nick off a Forest player as well, which gets his team a set play.
It's a nice, safe way of playing that ball up the pitch because it was headed towards a teammate, but at the same time, it was the right pace that it was only ever going to deflect off an opposition player if they could get to it. So, smart bit of play there. Man City then, what have they got in their set-piece locker?
It's a good strike, great dummy. Oh, it's just wide of the post. It's a great effort. I think teams now are really getting that power to get the ball to the back post in one pass. Gone are the days where you're sort of looking to short past your central player and then spin it to the back post to try and speed the ball along. Players are hitting the ball that well now that it can go from wing to wing, side to side, without much in the middle.
And it's a couple of years old now, the analysis, but we once did an analysis on where goals were scored from, and if you're describing the back post as either post where the ball has to travel before it gets the player to strike it from the other side of the pitch, then around 70 to 80% of goals are scored at the back post in Powerchair Football.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, that stat. I think in the main, as you said before, you're looking to get some speed on the ball and get the defenders moving, and if they're setting up as a defensive wall or block around their front post area like they are now, two players in that area, the space is on the far side, so the teams will be looking to try and switch that ball with power into that zone and give their teammate a chance of getting a finish before they can get across. That's a good powerful spin there, and a little pick up to the back post.
Phenomenal save there.
Great save. It looked like it was creeping into that bottom corner for sure, but Toby Morris there, very, very controlled in his reversing skills with his chair. Got across, made a big save, and that's gone out for a corner kick from Man City.
His eyes were locked on the ball, watched it onto his back wheel.
It's a difficult one, that though, because he's travelling across towards Kareem Ali there, and he's coming on that front bumper, and he's just changed the momentum of the ball, and he's had to react quickly, so he's done very well there to get back and save that one. It's great to see both Sebastian Spinks and Oscar in their new chairs, and they seem to have taken to it very well. Jumped into the strike force for the first time this weekend at the National League, and
it's certainly paid off in terms of results and goals so far.
Yeah, I mean, credit to the lads for how quickly they've adjusted, because it's not easy. They've been playing in a certain chair for a number of years, and yeah, they've switched well, and I think, to be honest, in the main, the chairs are pretty consistent across the piece, but maybe that little bit of an edge in terms of the one-to-one battling and the power on the flicks just helps to get the ball moving a little bit more.
Yeah, I think as well they might be sat slightly better.
Yeah, got a nice contour backrest on there to be comfortable and well balanced.
I think I've seen a few past games where Oscar definitely had a cushion. It was picked up a couple of times by the coaches to put back in.
We've all been there. Bits of Velcro, bits of tape strapping us in. Any way to stay comfortable in the chair and compete.
now doesn't seem to need that cushion in his new setup, so that's yeah, a nice improvement comfort-wise for him.
Nottingham are building a bit of pressure here around the edge of the box, making it very difficult for Man City to get out. Rodgers is doing really well in the middle there against Seb Spink.
They're quite a young side, this Nottingham Forest team.
He's done really well there to jump back and get the space as well for that spin. Just didn't quite catch it that time, but he's got the second time round. Ball across to Riley Priestley. Cooper.
There's a chance here.
Oh, he's deflected that lovely past Joe Kingston.
Absolutely glorious touch there.
What I really liked about that goal is Ben Rodgers in the middle. He got himself that space in the middle to find that switch. Riley had his chair set in reverse. Great ball across. Cooper's coming on the front bumper, recognises power on the ball, and he's deflected that nicely past Jay Pixton in goal.
I think more in terms of a touch, and it might have been going into Pixton's chair. So that was just perfect for that.
Just as we were saying about the equipment being reliable, nothing falling off chairs. There we go. Bit of a nut or a bolt on the court. It's for Man City to respond now. Arguably, you'd say they were perhaps looking the most likely to get that opening goal, but Forest have, as I said before, got their shape. Big triangle, got their wingers high and wide, and have looked to counter-attack at times, but they've got the ball in behind really well. So it's for Man City to try and respond now.
I think they'll be well placed to do so. They've had a tough couple of seasons up until now, and so being 1-0 down won't faze them at all. It's sadly for them a position they've been in for quite a while, but now they've got a bit of confidence in being able to go off it and score goals and change the game. So I suspect they'll stick with it. That's a great pass out by Jay Pixton. Yeah,
Jeff and Linesman on the far side just deliberating to see. There's a bit of a contact foul. I think Ben Rodgers tried the big reverse spin in the centre of the park, just caught Jay Simpson's chair, and they've come to the decision that it's a Man City free kick.
I think it would have been a 2-on-1 if that foul hadn't been given.
Yeah, I think so too. I think your previous point there was a good one, Alex. Obviously, Man City have come into this league, and it's took them a year or two to get used to the game and the pace in the National League, and now they're, you know, like you say, they've had disappointing results in the past, but they've learned from that. They've had the experience of bouncing back, and going 1-0 down certainly won't faze them. They'll know that they're well in this game, and next goal's probably really important, but I think they'll be backing themselves that they can be the ones that get it.
Certainly the shape they've had in the game so far, and the chances they've made, and the penetration they've had into the Forest final third should give them enough confidence to do so. We've just had a little break whilst they've been getting the chair sorted. I think the bolt that was picked up earlier found a home.
Found a home, yes. Back in its rightful place. It's a great pass. You've seen a lot of this from teams now. Their centres from goal kicks, from free kicks as well. They'll let the goalkeeper take the ball, and they'll go and look to block and shield to create space for a direct ball through to the wingers. Kareem Ali at that occasion couldn't quite find his teammate, but he was in space, received it in a good area, and Man City will be trying to find those zones in behind Nottingham Forest as this first half comes to an end. Again, difficult area for Man City to try and break out. Under pressure straight away from Finlay Cooper there from Forest. Jay Pixton, as the goalkeeper's advancing up the court now. He's done well there to win his side in attacking kick-in. With just over 2.5 minutes left, Man City will be hoping to try and sustain a bit of pressure now and create an opportunity to score a goal. It's interesting to see that Jay's actually stayed up for this attack, so maybe they've got something up their sleeve. Ball down the line to Kareem Ali. Pick off back to Jay. Chance to switch that one across. They've worked that really well. Well read by Ben Rogers in the middle though to step out and intercept. He'll be knowing this is the goalkeeper and it gives them a chance to get through towards the box. Obviously the goalkeeper outside the area can give way to 2-on-1. But Jay Pixton's done really well to hold him up there. It's a good battle in the centre of the pitch. Referee Jeff Lewis has pulled that one back. Maybe a little bit of a contact foul. It was 2-on-1, was it? No, set ball. Ball wasn't deemed to be rolling, so set ball in the middle of the pitch for us to restart. Well worked by Jay Pixton there to work that one down the line. Chance to spin this across the back post. It's a good interception. Referee's pulled it back for a 2-on-1 though. A little bit close there between the two Man City players. It's been a very good half though as we approach the last minute and a half of this one. Both teams have certainly created chances. Great powerful spin there by Riley Priestley. Just took a deflection off the Man City player and got out for an attacking ball. So chance for Forest to get a second goal here before the break. Again, looking for that sort of block and dummy towards the back post. Not much power on that one though, so Ben in the middle's had to try and generate the power himself and couldn't direct that one on target, so it's gone out for a goal kick. Good strike from Jay Pixton. Deflected out wide. Ben Rogers and Sebastian Spink in the middle of the pitch battling away. Alex's return, you may have noticed I was on my own for a second.
Apologies for that, Chris. I was just doing a bit of tech support elsewhere.
Yes. Plenty going on during this game, isn't there, Alex?
There's a lot on and off the pitch.
Yeah.
There's all sorts going, but it's makes for an exciting weekend of Powerchair football.
It certainly does. Contact there in the box, but referee must have deemed that to be bumper to bumper, playing advantage. I was just saying while you were off comms there, Alex. Man City have opted to get Jay Pixton in front now a little bit more as the centre. Does lead to these issues when teams do counter-attack, as the goalkeeper, as they get back to the box, tend to give way a 2-on-1. Referee seems to be playing the advantage, or maybe deemed that the supporting player got far enough away. So we go to a goal kick.
And 17 Spinks there was partly over the line for the to put the goal. Of course, being an outfield player could end up in a scenario where he's gone over the line and causing an issue for the referee there in terms of either a yellow,
yes,
or a red if deemed to have been preventing a goal. Have had a red card this weekend.
Have we?
For that offence.
Very difficult in terms of the ruling there. I think it's a controversial one across some of the players, that in the running game often we see players behind the goal in the net chucking their bodies on the line to clear it, and perhaps the argument in Powerchair football is, as long as we don't go behind the post and return back onto the pitch, could we perhaps not have the same rulings as the goalkeeper, where the goalkeeper can go behind the line to try and save the ball?
Well, our referee Jeff Lewis has brought that half to a close, so we've now got a little bit of time to talk about that.
Let's continue our debate. I like it.
I think one of the controversial elements of that rule in general for players, when I've spoken to them, is that you not only is there a red card, there's a penalty as a result of that. So that's a tough one for teams to find themselves down to 3 or 2 players, depending on the scenario,
Yes.
and a penalty, potentially a goal down as well, from an action that is a natural instinct
Yes,
often,
of course.
and not necessarily deliberate and malicious. So it's a difficult one, but at the same time, if you were, for instance, to say, right, let's get 2 chairs that are the maximum length of chairs, and then both the goalkeeper and the defender sit behind the line, that's a potential tactic with that rule that arguably is difficult.
Yes, I can see the point. I think if you talk about in terms of 2 players could opt to sit on the actual line and have part of their chair on the court. So currently they can sort of do that. It doesn't change too much if they are 2 or 3 inches behind the line or 2 or 3 inches on the line. So I don't think it changes too much in that sense. Obviously, the risk with the ruling as it stands is that if that player does travel then behind the line and saves a clear goal scoring opportunity, as you said, it's sort of double jeopardy. It's a red card and a penalty, and in Powerchair Football, a 4-a-side game, losing a quarter of your team, it's a big advantage to the opposition having that extra player.
So the flip side is, is a yellow card and a penalty sufficient?
I think so, personally. I think, especially in a lot of the cases that I've seen where players are rushing across to make a save, and at times they make a clear save on the court and the momentum takes them off, and then it's sort of deemed that they've gone behind the line to stop a goal scoring opportunity. So it gives us that little bit of a grey area where they've actually made a great action and made a great save, but because they've travelled slightly over that line, then that is a red card and a penalty. That seems a bit too harsh for me. So
maybe a potential adjustment to the rule could be. I mean, we're nowhere near being able to do this.
Certainly not.
Obviously, this is just a hypothetical question,
for sure.
But maybe the adjustment is the yellow card. The red card is for the action of saving the ball when you're behind the line.
Yes.
And a yellow card for potentially going over the line after you've made the action of saving the ball.
Yeah.
Could be a step towards something a bit more lenient.
Yes, I think so. But look, the game's always evolving. It's important that we have these conversations and players' views are taken into account, and the WFA certainly do that. And I think that we've got a great setup now as a committee where we're constantly looking at ways to improve our product. Away from the international regulations as well at times. If we see something that we don't think is quite right, we go away and challenge that. And if we need to make adaptations for our own national leagues, we have done in the past in terms of the penalty kicks, for example. You know, we've at times we've adopted to go against what the international governing bodies have said with penalty kicks because we've felt that it perhaps isn't realistic. And I think in the main we've got great people that make good decisions for our game, and we all continue to communicate amongst ourselves, and we all want the sport to go in one direction, and that's forward, and I think it is. So it's great times.
It's nice to hear that's the perspective of a player there. I think as a WFA we try to communicate and have conversations with the referees on laws of the game, players on laws of the game, how they feel on the pitch, how they feel they're adapting to them, or how it's affecting the way the game's played. And you know, we want the game to be played in an attractive way, and you used a really important word there, product, and we consider Powerchair Football as a product from 2 directions. One as a product for people to play and take part in, and one as a sports entertainment product that we want to build a crowd and an audience and a set of fans that enjoy the game and understand the game, and so we try and make steps towards making the game more accessible to watch and enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be user friendly, hasn't it? People need to come down to watch a game of Powerchair Football and instantly understand it, and I think in the main they do. Obviously we have a couple of different rules in our game, don't we, like the 2-on-1s and the 3 in the box, and sometimes 2-on-1s can be quite subjective, but in the main, as you say, we've got to make sure that our product is accessible for everybody, and we would love to see thousands of people in attendance watching these games, and I'm sure, no doubt, in the future we will get there.
Oh, I'm definitely sure we're going to do that. With the ideas and the plans that with direction of travel to go, with the ambition we've got, that will be the case. The timeline to get to there is one we're working hard to decrease, but you know, there's
Yeah, it can't be quick enough for us players, especially us older players, Alex. We've not got many years left, so. But no, all jokes aside, these things take time. We've had a great few years here in Nottingham at a great facility. We've been away and explored the Derby Arena for our cup competitions, which has been fantastic to have bums on seats and watching the game live, and with all the, as you say, making the game accessible now with the live stream and having commentary and people able to communicate and discuss the game is all great progress, and the sport's only going in one direction.
Yeah, watch your space for developments. We'll let people know as and when we can. Anyway, back to the game. Second half kicks off with Forest pushing up the pitch. A fairly central ball there from Ben Rogers meant that Riley Priestley came in to make contact, but Finley Cooper had also narrowed the pitch. 2-1 result.
Yeah, just one change to note from Manchester City. Lucas Bezer-O'Brien's come on for Jay Simpson on the right-hand side, left-hand side as we look at it.
And he'll be very keen for me to mention he's currently Manchester City's top scorer.
I know he keeps a close eye on his goal tally. I think his first goal eluded him for a while. He was very unlucky with some deflections and things like that, but I believe he's maybe up to 3 on the tally for the season now, so I'm sure he's looking forward to come on now and try and add a 4.
I think you're spot on with your numbers there. I did once have a fairly long conversation with Lucas as he tried to convince me that there should be a way to overrule the referee's decision on an own goal or not.
Well, I think he's trying to take a leaf out of John Balding's book there, because I think John Balding's done that well over the years.
He's done well there to put pressure on the Forest players. He gave away a 2-on-1. Man City indirect free kick. Spink 17 to take it. Trying to find his brother.
Apologies, there's been 2 changes for Man City. Oscar Spink is on as well, so Kareem Ali has gone off. So we've got 2 brothers competing on the pitch together. It's a great ball across from Lucas Bezer-O'Brien.
And they've got a goal!
What a finish. Oscar Spink's back across goal. A very quickly taken kick in there from Lucas Bezer-O'Brien. Caught the Nottingham Forest defence out. I think there's an argument that the kicking may have actually been for Nottingham Forest, but Riley Priestley certainly not happy here on the far side. But what a great goal it was. Game on, 1-1.
Superb. An assist for Lucas. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Quite a stunning assist as well with that one.
Yeah, great power on that strike. Went for the big reverse spin, found the gap through, all the way through to the back post. And a very composed finish back across goal between the defender and goalkeeper. A lot of players in that instance, as you said with your stats previously, the back post goals would be shooting towards that back post, but he went back across goal in that instance, and very composed finish.
Forest then looking to reply as quickly as they can.
Yeah, it sets us up for an entertaining game now, because I think Forest feel a little bit unjust on that one. I think they felt that was their ball and they've responded well, and sets up for a great second half.
I had a conversation with Lucas about an hour ago, actually, just before this game, and referenced you. So he was talking to me about how he could improve and what areas of the game he feels that, or I feel that he could improve on. And so we had a chat about ball striking. He said, I got a good dead ball kick. I said, that's fine. I said, I think you can improve your ball striking on a moving ball. Yeah. And one of those that you can do is get a ball, get up against the wall and just knock it back and forth off the wall. And I said, Chris Gordon's done that for hours and hours and hours in his career. That's a practice and a drill that I know he's put in there.
Oh, that's a great save.
Tremendous save at the back post. Riley Priestley picking up a Ben Rogers ball. Tried to find the gap.
Very alert from Jay Pixton there. Got across his goal line quickly and has caught that just in time. Forced it out for a kicking on the sideline. Going back to your point though, Alex, I think players have got to go away and put the work in individually. Obviously it's great that teams have weekly training sessions and get together to work on tactics and their all-round philosophy and style of play, but individual techniques and skills are really important in that, and if you can go away and get in a sports or get a ball, even on your own. There's plenty that you can do to work on your techniques. Don't need a lot of equipment. Old jumpers for goalposts type of thing. Get a marker down on the floor. Get practicing your consistency of striking and finding a zone. And as you say, moving ball. If you're lucky to have someone to come down with you and feed a ball into you. If not, you can bounce it off a wall and set for the return ball. So how many hours do you reckon you do that at your peak when you were training? I think for me now at this point, it's coming up to competition. So if it's international competition, there's plenty of extra training scheduled in and working on those things. Sometimes if I feel out of form as well, sometimes you feel like, it's hard to keep that consistency in this game, and if sometimes your timing or your accuracy doesn't feel quite right, just go and have a couple of hours in the sports, or so maybe 2 or 3 extra sessions a week at times. I'm quite lucky at West Brom that we have access to the sports hall quite often, so if other teams are training, I'll tend to go up with my strike force and have an hour before they arrive for their session, and then sometimes join in their sessions as well to help them with their development. So I try and get as many hours in as possible, but not always easy. We're all very busy. And
I think that's something that a lot of people won't see or know because it's off the pitch, but the dedication and the training applies in Powerchair football as much as it applies in any other version of the game. And those that put the hours in will reap the rewards.
For sure. And I think it doesn't always need to be in the chair either. Video is massive, reviewing the footage back, if that's to find little weaknesses in the opposition, but also looking at players who play in the same position as yourself, and maybe a skill that you're struggling with, and you notice a player that's doing it particularly well. You can go away on the video, break it down, and look at the fine details to see why they find it so easy, and then try and replicate that in your own training.
Good ball by O'Brien, back to Pixton, who's let it roll across his chair, try and find the reverse spin. Jay Pixton had a nice...
Yeah, very good involvement there.
Jaunt up the pitch there and controlled the...
As a player who tends to play in goal quite a lot, it's great to see goalkeepers getting forward. Man City covered round well there, so never really in any danger. I think Sebastian Spink's in the middle, covered round, so meant that the goal wasn't open. But very good control from Jay there to let it run across him and opt for that reverse spin. Defender closed him down and restricted that space in the end, but it was certainly good intent.
And Oscar Spink there from a kick in on the far side of the pitch tried to repay the favour from Lucas O'Brien for their City first goal, and it was only just intercepted.
Yeah, these quick kick-ins are certainly deadly if you can get a good strike and catch the defenders out in their setup. Great ball across there from Ben Rogers again. Finley Cooper tried to replicate that earlier goal with a deflection off the front bumper, but just couldn't quite make contact on that occasion.
And quick free kicks and kick-ins, etc., more of a historically been a characteristic of the Premiership. Certainly in the Championship, there seems to be a slightly slower restart to the game in general, but so these quick ones are not part of what we'd expect or have seen in the Championship for years. So it's certainly a good tactic, and teams that are adopting it will be better placed if they do end up in the Premiership as well, if that's the case, because they'll be getting into position and defensively much quicker as well.
Yeah, of course. On the flip side of that, if teams are doing it against them and they're recognising that they're scoring goals, they've got to get set up in their defensive shape much quicker. And I think, as you said, that is a big difference between the two. But it has been historically anyway between the two divisions that the play can be a little bit quicker from those restarts. Teams aren't necessarily waiting for all 4 players to be set. They can see the space, they can see an opportunity, and players get to the ball quickly and take it. It's a lovely ball across.
Couldn't quite time his spin, Finley Cooper.
No, but both teams are really trying to get those triangles moving. I think sometimes maybe a little bit too quick to try that big spin on the far side. Front bumpers back to those central areas to keep the ball moving left to right. Sometimes once it goes one way, the ball can return back the other. But teams tend to get a little bit excited and look for that striker goal. But maybe for their future development, thinking about opportunities to actually recognise the defenders have moved across and then look to move that ball back the way it's come from.
Certainly it's a sport where it can look like you've got a good opportunity and you can hit the ball really hard towards goal, but if there's a defensive player that's got a 130 kilogram chunk of metal chair between where you're trying to hit the ball and you, then it's definitely not going in. Like I say, that decision making of when to take the shot is also a characteristic that's slightly different between the Prem and the Champ in terms of development.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to experience. Players tend to be, in the main, in the Championship, coming into the sport, relatively new to them, it's quite fresh, and you know, our eyes always light up when we see the chance to score. When we see the ball coming across to us and we know those goalposts are open, we set for that big spin and try and strike it. But on the travel of the ball, sometimes that picture quickly changes, and players might necessarily be able to see that because of their position and of their chair and their impairments in terms of not being able to check behind their shoulders. So it's having that understanding that on the travel of the ball, the defence will move, and maybe that extra pass will catch teams out.
And the effectiveness of the front bumper.
Yeah, it gets neglected at times, but just to manoeuvre that ball into a new area, it's obviously a lot easier to have an accurate pass off that front bumper. If you're travelling in the line of the ball, you can punch it back to pretty much where you want. Rather than timing a spin, there's a lot more variables that come into play. So
I think the timing of a spin also gives defenders a little bit of a heads up. The time difference between working out that there's a pass coming from a spin to the ball being hit versus a front bumper to the ball being hit. I think the front bumper's a lot less time, and so your chances of moving players around greatly increases. A great chance for Nottingham Forest there. A ball from Ben Rogers from the middle down to Riley Priestley, and the Manchester City defence were organised enough, but there was a bit of a gap there.
They were, and these corners are a great opportunity to create a chance with the goalkeeper having to stay behind the line. Just gives that little bit more space for a direct ball to the back post. Ben Rogers has opted to take the strike on this occasion. He's working the ball on the edge of the area there, looking for his wide players, but Seb Spinks has dealt with the threat for now.
So wide players have stayed very deep, and then very wide, and then as Ben came deeper, they changed positions slightly. This is an interesting setup. Riley Priestley's got himself a good position at the top of the box there. Couldn't quite execute. No,
it was a good strike as well from Ben Rogers. He's got great power on that one. So I think if Riley could have opened up that gap, it was a case that would have run through to Finley on the far side for a chance to score a second goal. But Nottingham seem to be piling on a little bit of pressure now. You'd arguably say that if we were to get a deciding goal, it's looking more likely to come from Forest at this moment in time.
Oh, that sounds like commentator's curse, Chris.
Set myself up now for that one, haven't I? That will be going viral later this afternoon as Man City counter-attack up the pitch and score a goal.
You know it's getting clipped if Lucas does it. I think City look the biggest threat when they get Pixton up the pitch and into the final third. See if they can work the ball up pitch far enough they can bring him out. Well, he may yet stand a chance.
It's interesting to see that Nottingham haven't gone to their bench at this point. They seem to be feeling like the goal's come in. Another good chance there for Finley Cooper coming in on the front bumper. Ben Rogers and Riley have linked up well, and they've linked that ball to the back post area. Finley's opting to come in on his front bumper, which I like. I think once the power's on that ball, don't think we necessarily need to be waiting for those spins, which is good to see that Finley's recognising a chance to come into the space and try and finish that off. Didn't quite get the gap between the two there, but it was a good opportunity as Man City now counter-attack.
And there it is, commentator's curse. Lucas Veza O'Brien with his 4th goal.
Oh dear. I apologise now, Nottingham Forest. You can blame me for that one. I think I've classic case of the commentator's curse has struck again. It was a great goal though.
Great pressure from Lucas. He only had eyes for goal.
He certainly did. He put a lot of pressure on that Nottingham Forest defence, and he's intercepted the ricochet through the gap between the two. Sometimes front foot football, eh? Put the pressure on the defence and see if they crack. So credit to Lucas there. He was determined to get that 4th goal, and he's got it. So well done, Lucas. 2-1 Man City. Can Forest respond?
So we have a slight issue with our graphics. We've shown you that Lucas has indeed scored a goal, but it's not been added to the overall scores at the moment. I'm just seeing if I can sort out why that's the case.
As Man City push for a 3rd. Ben Rogers has done really well there to work the ball behind Lucas. And I think I was just going to run out for a goal kick, but certainly got some territory now. 4 minutes remaining. Forest will be looking to pin Man City back in their own half and look to try and create an opportunity to get that equalising goal. Sub for Manchester City. Ben Whittaker has come onto the pitch to replace Oscar Spink. Ben Rogers opts for the reverse spin. Ball didn't break free, so he's going to have to battle this one. Finlay Cooper's avoiding the 2-on-1 in the corner. Very well done again by Jay Pixton to get that ball under control and advance up the court. This is probably the area where he just needs to try and win his team the kick in, and he's done that very well to relieve the pressure. With just 3 minutes left on the clock, that can be vital to helping his team to pick up these 3 points. Can lightning strike twice? The big reverse spin. He's got it across. Ben Whittaker perhaps not quite in line with that one. Sorry, Stephen Whittaker. Stephen Whittaker. Apologies, Stephen.
Stephen's been playing the game for quite a while, so it's nice to see he's made it up to National League level now.
Yeah, spent a lot of time with Bolton Bullets, I believe.
He did.
It's a great ball across.
Can only find the middle of the goal where Jay Pixton had positioned himself.
Yeah, another very, very good switch ball across from Ben Rogers in the middle there. Riley opted for the reverse spin. He's gone for power. Perhaps needed the half spin finish at the back post maybe, but as I say, it's a great strike. He's forced the keeper to make a save.
I just wonder where you said earlier that Jay Pixton seems to have a lot of calmness at the back there. Some goalkeepers would have lurched towards that near post where the ball had gone to try and block that near post shot, and it often then goes past them into the far post. But Jay just seemed to hold a position slightly more centrally.
Yeah, very calm. He sort of read the game well, kept eyes on the ball. I think that's important at times. I think that need to recognise that it's the ball that's going to go through the post and not the player who's taking that big spin. So keep eyes on that ball. Don't gamble where it's going and sort of jump ahead of where it is. Stay in line, keep that chair set, make yourself as big as possible, and let's try and deflect that ball away.
Yeah, and you get a split second to know where it's going to go before the contact's made, just with the shape of the chair and the speed of the ball.
Yeah, and I think going back to your earlier point, if players are set for those spins, it perhaps is a little bit easier to read. Whereas if they are travelling on that line of the ball, they can arrive to the ball quicker and they can punch it into an area to give the defending player less time to respond. Not sure if it was there for Riley to have a front bumper finish on that occasion, but the timing of the spin allowed Jay to get across goal and read where it was going.
Can they manufacture
last seconds now.
something here?
Difficult angles these from a kick-in rather than a corner. Trying to get the ball to the edge of the area and across is very difficult as teams set up in this wall type shape with the defending player on the edge of the box restricting the space.
Less than 30 seconds on the pitch side clock. Got a potential chance here if Riley can get it wider. Almost has some triangles and some movement for the ball there, but Jay Pixton's managed to lock that ball up.
Yeah, he's done very well there. He's got it under control. Changed the momentum. Forced Forest to try and get the ball out and earn his team a kick in with seconds left. Added on time, up to the referee now to decide. But Man City will be trying to just manage this game out as Lucas Veza-O'Brien goes for the little touch and dribble kick in.
We've seen that a fair few times in the European game, and historically I would say that was a Reece Mallet kick in. Reece, who's been a bit of a journeyman and played for a few teams, that's a tactic I've seen him employ plenty of times.
Well, I'm guilty. I'm not saying guilty. It's needed at times. Once you've got the points that you want, you've got to try and get over the line. But it's game management is a big part of this sport. The ball can quickly go from one end of the pitch to the other. And as we are in added time, I think that's a wise decision from Lucas to try and see the remaining seconds out.
Again, keeping that ball locked up, keep it slow.
Yeah. It's very difficult to get the ball out of contact between two chairs. And Lucas has recognised that on that occasion. Forrest working one last chance maybe, as the referee checks his watch.
Jay's Pixton again, just calm, sensible decisions. And there is the full-time whistle. Manchester City 2, Nottingham Forest 1. A very interesting and tight game of football at times.
Yeah, it could have gone either way. Both teams played some great football, as we've alluded to during the commentary. Two big triangles, getting the ball moving, central players looking to spin the ball. Thought Ben Rodgers had a great performance in the middle of the pitch, worked the ball out left and right side really well. And likewise with Man City, I think Jay Pixton stepping into those middle areas in the end has proved the difference for me. I think he's had a good effect going forward in the final third and very, very composed defending his own goal.
Big smile on his face as he's driven over to see us now.
Yeah, I think he's coming for a man of the match award or something, Jay, there. I certainly got my man of the match vote, so credit Jay, great performance. Big 3 points for the team. But a great game, and I'm sure Forest will take positives out of that as well, because they created a number of chances, and I'm sure they'll be back for a good game this afternoon against the West Bromwich Albion Baggies.
As much as I agree with you, Jay Pixton, for me, man of the match, I thought he was outstanding. Honourable mention for Lucas Veza-O'Brien, an assist and a goal, and I think we got to give you an assist for his goal as well.
Once again, Nottingham Forest, I do apologise there.
It's been great to commentate this game with you, Chris. It's been lovely. Nice catching up and a good chat on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Alex. It's been great. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime. Always welcome to have you here. And see you all soon for our next game here on Pitch B.